So, I reviewed Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy 15 in the past, and since Final Fantasy 7 Remake is coming out soon, it will be logical for me to review the non-remake version of this game. But since when did logic ever drove any of my action? So yeah, this week I'll review the Final Fantasy that people talk probably the least of, the third one. It's not controversial, it's not new, it's not one of the most classic games of all time, and it's not vastly underrated either. No, it's just Final Fantasy 3. By the way, since it's an old motherfucking game, it got released like 12 times on 7 different consoles. So yeah, today I just want to clarify that I'll be talking about the Steam version of this game, which they literally updated as I was finishing the fucking game. They revamped the graphic, the menu, and they added a turbo mode, which really speed battle up and help a shit ton when it comes to grinding. That would have been so fucking nice if I had that at the beginning of the motherfucking game. No! The scrubby shit company can suck. Final Fantasy 3 follow the story of 4 orphans, Luneth, Ark, Rifia, and Ingus, who get instructed by a giant crystal to restore the balance. In order to do so, they will have to travel the land and receive power from other giant crystal. And that's pretty much all there is to this story. This is an old-timey game, so the story is fairly simple and short. It's not a game where you have an elaborate story that just get deeper and deeper as you advance in the game.
Nope.
What you do have is different short stories from a town to another that all connect to the central theme that the world is going down to shit. A little bit like what's happening right now all over the world with the coronavirus. Anyway, the advantage of multiple short stories and having an overall simpler plot is that it offers a more casual experience. A big criticism that JRPG often get is that they have a convoluted, overly complicated, chaotic story. I must say it's very enjoyable for elitists of the genre to reach pages and pages worth of lore, but that might be discouraging for newer people. When in that mindset, characters don't have the most unique personality. I could barely tell you more than a thing or two that's different from one of these fucker to the other one. Well, this guy is a guy, and this chick is a chick. Yeah. No, they're all pretty generic main character. Sadly, it is the same for the main antagonist. You have to take into consideration that this game comes from a different era of Final Fantasy. Back then, the Final Fantasy series didn't have evil villain that turned the main character for most of the story. It was more the world is going to end and here's a final boss at the end. Even at the end, you really don't get a lot of interaction with the final boss. I will understand why people could feel like it's not really casual, it's more just boring. And yeah, if the game was 40 or 80 hours, I would agree, but it's not. You can fairly easily finish the game under 25 hours. By the way, people online are insane, saying that it takes 30-ish hours to finish the game. I don't know what the fuck they were doing while they were playing the game. I'm fairly sure they were touching themselves for a good 10 hours. Because I personally finished it in 21 hours. And I didn't have the goddamn turbo mode when I finished the first fucking playthrough. Goddamn turbo mode. Fucking goddamn it. Back to the point I was making. It is a fairly short game. Having a simpler story doesn't hurt the game as much as it would for a longer story. And for that reason, I think it's a good recipe for Final Fantasy Light. Same taste of Final Fantasy, but with less bullshit. I should make ads, god damn it. And that's everything you need to know about the game, right? Right? Who care about stuff like gameplay? You just press stuff and bing bang boom, you beat the game. That's it. Okay, I'm just kidding. There's actually a lot more to it than just that. So the first thing I want to delve into is definitely the most important one. Why the fuck can you not save inside a dungeon? Or a town? Who the fuck designed that shit? And why? The worst is that you cannot instantly get out of the dungeon till you get to the very late game. Oh, there's a teleport spell right at the beginning. Well, again, that would have been fucking nice knowing that on the first playthrough. Anyway, you can quick save inside of a dungeon, which is not the same thing as saving for some reason that I will never understand. A quick save get erased if you die, so if midway a dungeon you realize that it might be too hard for you, well, I got bad news. However, it's fairly unlikely that you get stuck in the dungeon or that you die because it's too hard, because they're pretty straightforward, and bosses are mostly easy. As long as you're well prepared and that you make sure that you always heal, no bosses should kill you. Most of that preparation come in the form of having a balanced team and decent equipment. By having a balanced team, I mean to pick the best classes for your characters and not having like 4 healer. So yeah, in this game you got classes and you got a lot of them. They progressively get unlocked as you progress in the game. I must say, on my first playthrough, I went for the super safe combo of a white mage, a black mage, a monk, and a knight for most of the game. I regret doing that. Not because it was a bad combo, but because it's kinda just a boring one. One of the most fun things you can do is trying different team and making weird combo. I mean, it might not be the best squad, but playing with 4 mage and calling it the medic squad is a recipe for one hell of a good time. But having a good comm is one half of the equation. The other half is having good gear, which you mostly get from regular shop. And I say mostly because some gear and item are hidden a little bit everywhere. Some in chests, some in trees, and some in pots? Bitch, this ain't Zelda. Yeah, for some reason, some items are just hidden a little bit everywhere for funsy. Some are pretty obvious, but some have literally zero visual cue to know that they are there. You can always zoom in to see hidden shit, but like, who the fuck play the game just furiously zooming in every fucking minute? No fucking one! But the good thing is that those items are not essential to beat any part of the game. Overall, Final Fantasy III is great. It's not my favorite from the series, and I don't think it's anybody's favorite, but for the price it's 100% worth it. So, if ever you're down for Final Fantasy Light, go for it. Alright, so that'll be all for me today. As much as I complained on the update that came in, I think it was a great update. At first it was a weird update, because like the texts were not like fitting in the box, and it was just like weird, so you couldn't read what exactly character were saying sometime. Anyway, that was a fun game, so we'll see each other next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.